Hey everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations. You're with Simon. So in today's video, I'm going to share an inspirational story with you. So we're going to put the theory aside and I'm going to introduce you to somebody who we've been able to support with the Promethean perspective. Now, in the last 4 videos, I actually covered quite a lot of information. I showed you how to begin aligning yourself with the Promethean perspective. And I also walked you through our entire process. So we're going to do something different in this video. And I'm going to share an inspirational story with you of a soul who we've been able to support in establishing a sense of clarity around their purpose and meaning with the Promethean perspective. So I really hope that you get some wisdom, you gain some wisdom out of it, or you find yourself being inspired with the process and inspires you in your own process. Maybe you just find yourself actually relating to the story. So here's the recent conversation that I had with Lisa, and she shares and talks about her experience on her journey. I think you reached out in what, 2018 or something?
It was 2017. And at that time, I was having my last Saturn square leading up to the Uranus opposition.
Okay.
And for me, it was like I created this beautiful life. I met and married this incredible person. We have 3 amazing children, the white picket fence, the nice, just the Hollywood version of what we're supposed to do. That's what I did, right?
Right.
But then I got to that last Saturn opposition, square before the Uranus opposition. So I feel like that kind of like shakes things up. And so I draw on a lot of people who feel like they have everything. Why aren't they happy? And because that's where I was. Okay. I just all of a sudden had all these emotions of like anger and anxiety and frustration, feeling there must be more, right? Yep. So I went searching.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I felt completely isolated. And both of those perspectives of not being able to do this, create this picture, and then also having it all, and then feeling like, why am I unhappy? Because I have everything, right? So I went searching. I was very isolated. There wasn't anybody to talk to that was relatable. I saw some videos on YouTube. I was searching through. I've always been drawn to astrology, so I started searching astrology. I never heard of evolutionary astrology, but I landed on a few of your videos, and they just clicked with me. And I finally felt, even though there was no interaction, I felt like you saw me, or you heard me, or you could relate to who I was through some kind of aspect of the chart, right? Some kind of Saturn in the whatever house. So I was like, whoa, he knows me without even having met me. So then I requested a reading. Anyways, one thing led to another. We met, and then I started taking some classes in your astrology school, and so the rest is kind of history. But but during that time, I felt so hungry to know who I was, and for someone to just see me and to finally feel vulnerable. And I feel when I met you, it was safe. And I don't feel that. It's very rare for me to feel safe to expose myself,
But it's interesting that you mentioned a few things. Like you talked about how even though you came from because there are 2 sides to this story of people feeling at the moment like there's change that is they're standing on the precipice of change, and it feels either like I've got everything, but yet there's this sense that something more needs to exist, or I have not really achieved any of those things, but I know I need a change in some way, or something needs like awakening within me, right? It's very clear that it shows up like that. And in your process of discovering these tools, like you said you took some classes, and was there like a perspective shift that opened you up to being able to see this other dimension of the self, right? Was it something, maybe you want to share?
So evolutionary astrology as a tool to see the bigger picture of what's happening from the soul's perspective.
Right.
So just that depth alone was life-changing for me. Like, there's something bigger at play
Yeah.
happening, right? And this is the intention and the growth potential for
Right.
me, right?
Right.
And so I think a lot of us, me for sure, have fought like who I am, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm told you can't be that, you can't be that, and then we're looking at the blueprint of the energy coming in, the birth
Sure.
chart, and I'm able to connect with this language and see myself and go, oh, well, I can be myself. Like,
Right.
this is who I am, right?
Uh-huh.
So it really is reclaiming who you
Yes.
are and being
Yes.
okay with it, and that's where the empowerment comes from. That's where the
Mhm.
self acceptance.
Yeah.
That's where it happens. Um, yeah, and it's a beautiful, I'd say, unfolding of
Right.
uh, of being able to. It's like a door that opens this pathway back to yourself.
Right.
I don't know how else to put that. That's
No,
how it
that
feels. It's
was
like a
that was
bridge.
great. It
I
is.
feel
It's
it's
the
a
truth.
bridge. Yeah.
It is a bridge. It is, and you know, you almost, in a sense, what I got from you is the sense of, you feel that you came back home, right?
Yes.
And I think that's what happens, like, especially for people that I talk to as well, and including myself. Like, we come back home to something and we realize and connect to a self that's so much more deeper, and we feel fulfilled, and that becomes empowering, like you said, you know,
Right.
in that process. Like, we really feel empowered in a way that's not just about an outside definition of who we are, but something that's more inwardly defining us in a bigger way, and we find our place within the cosmos, as it were, right? Hence the reason
Yes.
why it's this
Yes.
feeling of coming home.
And it really helps shed those layers of guilt or feeling like you're not enough.
Right.
And that's definitely
Yep.
something I had to work through. Yeah. Right.
It's another big um, opportunity to see that, like, when we step into the truest sense of ourselves, we realize that is just conditioning, right? We let go of those personas.
Yes.
um, One of the cool things about your personal journey is that, you know, you've arrived at a point where you're actually, like, actualizing a lot of the tools and the things that you've taken in and transformed. I mean, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, you're co-creating with another person on a YouTube um,
Yes.
platform,
Yes.
which, if I remember correctly, it's called Aquarian Perspective or something.
Yeah. It's the Aquarian perspective. Yeah. And we're creating a community.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you
On
feel
my
like
networks. Yeah.
do you feel like self-actualized in that process? Like, you're actually participating in
I
something
feel
that
like
really feeds you?
I mean, energetically, I've been high-fiving you this whole time, like, I'm doing it, Simon, I'm doing it, I'm
Right
doing
on.
it. That's how it
Yeah,
feels. Yeah. I knew that you'd be super proud if you ever learned of it. Yeah.
that's cool. No, that's amazing. I mean, that's ultimately the intention, right? We take ourselves from this precipice that feels that something needs to change within us, right? And then we go through
Right.
this kind of journey. We reconnect with something deeper, and then all of a sudden, on the other side, we're like, oh, actually, there's this entire process of creative self-actualization that's there, and, you know, that can look differently for different people, I suppose. But for you,
Yeah.
in the way of really spreading a message and being able to pay it forward, I'm sure it deeply nourishes you as
Oh, I
well.
like that, pay it forward. I
Hmm.
look at it, I always see it as a ripple effect,
Right
you
on.
know?
Yep.
So, as within, it just ripples out. Um, yeah, and it's just yeah, it is. It's pay it forward. I love that.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, that is it. Like, we take that essence, that excitement, and we just, like I said, pass it on, and then somebody else kind of goes, "Hey, you know, I'm at this point in my life right now, and I'm going to reach out to Lisa and and be like, can you help me see something?"
Yeah.
Right? Which I'm
And
sure you
and
probably had.
totally. Um, and I did want to add that with my work, us coming together, I feel like there's been Gosh, I'm just so different. It's night and day from when we first met. But one of the other benefits of working with you is the community that you've created, and how I was introduced. All of a sudden, it was like I went from isolated, and then I connected with you, and I felt seen and heard and validated. And then it just like opened up to all these other people coming into my life. And I feel like I went from alone and isolated to I have all this support, all these people who suddenly understand me, who are at the same vibration or frequency. And so that's how it works, I feel. And so, yeah, it's life-changing. It really has been life-changing for me. Yeah.
Incredible. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing your journey and actually creating your own ripples of change in the world. You know, I really hope that you felt inspired by Lisa's journey. And, you know, maybe it encouraged you to embark on your own personal journey of self-discovery, you know, and embrace the changes that are really needed right now. You know, change can be a very scary thing, but if we consciously embrace it, it can actually be a deeply empowering experience. You know, and for those of you who feel called to embark on the journey with guidance and support, we've actually created a course, The Awaken Your Inner Truth, that actually serves that purpose. And this is to establish a sense of clarity and direction around your purpose. And we really cannot wait to actually begin supporting people on this journey. So in the next video, I'll be sharing and shedding a lot more light on the Awaken Your Inner Truth course and what it entails, and showing you exactly why it's the most definitive program we've actually created. And I'll give you some instructions that you can also follow to be able to reserve a spot on the course, okay? All right, everybody. Thanks very much for listening. I really hope that you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.